Just coming back to bifacial, can I ask a little bit of a Dorothy Dix question here, Vincenzo? So since the bifacial panel can produce from the front and the rear, are you always better off with bifacial?
No, that depends really from the albedo. Albedo is the ratio between the reflected radiation, solar radiation, and the global solar radiation. So it depends very much from your soil. So a dark soil, or let's say a black color, has a zero albedo, so almost zero reflection. The dark color is absorbing as much as the light and is not reflecting much. Instead, light colors, like to some extent like the snow, is reflecting probably 75%, which means the 0.75, 0.7 albedo, 0.8 albedo, which is a lot. And of course, depends when you're planning a big investment, you need to do an assessment, as we used to do with, or we still used to do with wind. Then you need to assess the source, the wind source. Now we predict that the solar market, at least for the utility scale, is going to go towards the bifacial. At least in Australia now, we are under construction probably more than half gigawatt of bifacial solar farms. So, and as we did for while the solar source is quite predictable with the software that are available, for the albedo, you need to do a long-term assessment. Otherwise, you make a mistake in your investment.
What about residential applications of bifacial?
We get this a lot, Vince, don't we? Why don't I use bifacial on my roof at home?
Yeah. Yes. Well, that's a good question. I can probably tell of this funny story, a fun story of an installer that was complaining that he had installed next to each other on a roof a bifacial module and a monofacial module having the same power class, and the bifacial module was producing less power. And well, the reality is that he was installing the module, of course, close to the roof, and in that condition, because of the shade, the albedo was almost zero. Now,
so just stop there for a moment. So, because the backside of the module is so close to the roof, you get very little chance for reflectance.
Correct. So if you get your hand under a light source and you get closer and closer and closer and closer to the surface, you see that the shade, the area underneath is becoming darker and darker and darker and darker. So albedo was almost
so where
zero.
how far do we need to be here? Because I'm just wondering from, as a racking company, right?
Yeah, that's a good question. No, in US they are selling system in the commercial space where they lift the panel at least half a meter from the roof.
And they're still flush to the roof itself, or are they tilted?
They tilted, and they are offset a meter, at half a meter, no less than half a meter. So, and it might even work because if you have an opportunity, if you think you're planning also to renovate your roof, you can install some white, covering, or even
white Colorbond roof.
Well, if we are advertising, but yes,
why not just chrome? Wouldn't that be?
Or even chrome? Yeah, no, absolutely. If
I think this is quite like councils won't let you have reflective roofs.
Yeah. You can. I'm not sure that whether the council will allow you the chrome, but anyway, white definitely you are enhancing the albedo and the bifacial capacity. Anyway, back to the story. In this case, what happened is that the monofacial had the back sheet which was reflecting inside part of the radiation and giving probably on a 400 watt module was giving a 10 watt more than the bifacial, because the light in the bifacial was going through the cell and got dispersed underneath and was not bouncing back. And
the back sheet was doing the work of reflecting.
Yes.
Yeah.
However, if you install properly the bifacial and the same power class, and you got an albedo of at least, let's say, 20%, 0.2, then you can get a 7 or 8% more out of your product, which essentially is using the same cell. The additional cost of the bifacial is the additional glass at the back. I need to say also the bifacial has a lower degradation because over time, the module experience less also microfracture inside because it's stiffer because of the two glass they keep sealed and they keep safe the cell for a longer time.
Wow, thanks for explaining that. I used to think albedo was how excited you felt about something, but no, that's great. It's actually about the reflectivity. So I think you've made a good point here. So in a nutshell, from what you've said, the internal reflection in a normal panel with a backsheet actually helps, certainly with PERC. And if you take away that backsheet, you have to have something else to reflect it.
Correct.
If it's not there, if you haven't got a white roof or a good albedo off the surface of the Earth, you're actually worse off.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
And,
got it.
And the installer understood, learned the lesson. But it was good that was listening, because a lot of installers sometimes are just complaining and say, "Oh, yes, your module is not working." Yeah. Well, they started like that, the conversation. "Oh, your bifacial is not working." I said, "Okay, let's see."
Check out more episodes from Combos with Clenergy. Slap that subscribe button now. Cheers, cutters.